Welcome back to another episode of Candid with Claudia, where real stories meet real impact. Today I'm honored to sit down with a woman whose life is a masterclass in resilience, service, and community leadership. Janet Lorenzo-Garcia. Janet is a proud baby boomer, a longtime educator and mentor, and someone who has dedicated her life to uplifting families here in our community. Her journey is filled with wisdom, perspective, and lived experiences that remind us how every generation carries its own strength. Today, we're going to talk about her roots, her purpose, the lessons she'd gathered along the way, and the legacy she continues to build. This conversation is all about honoring where we come from and inspiring where we are going. Let's get candid. Welcome, Janet. Welcome to Candid with Claudia.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
You know, it's so telling how you learn of people. And we have not known each other a very long time. And for you to attend my book launch was very telling for me. Because, again, we don't really know one another. We have common friends. We have common interests, which we're going to dive into. But it's so clear that the one common denominator we do have is that we love to empower women. And so first and foremost, thank you for coming to my book launch.
It was actually my pleasure. And I feel that coming that day was very important for our relationship and our future friendship.
Yes. And when I learn more of you, I'm also a believer that who we are today is defined by our early beginnings. I'm the last of 9. I say it often because I'm very proud of that. I had my mom and dad, and I'm incredibly blessed that while they were taken from me a little too soon from me, I had them growing up. Tell me what that was like for you, because you did not have both your parents growing up. And I believe that that was a trauma, an early set trauma that you had when you were about the age of 4. What from that experience do you, because I don't remember being 4 years old. That's the first thing I want to say. Not very much. But what from that time impacted or has left an impact on your life to form the foundation of who you are today?
The fact that I have vivid memories of when I was 4, and a lot of people like yourself do not, I think that in itself says volumes. How that impacted my life, where I remember details. I remember details of the last day I saw my father. I remember details of the home, the floor that I lived at. I remember getting on the plane without him. I remember saying goodbye to him he was behind a chain link fence. That's how it occurred when we had to leave Cuba at the airport. And so the fact that I remember those details, and when we arrived, and I remember the struggles of my mom raising 3 little children. I was 4 years old. My middle brother was 6. My oldest brother was 8. Little children, raising them by herself, no English, no skills really to speak of regarding work or any of that. She was a homemaker, never worked a day in her life, but she knew how to sew. So I believe that her strength, while it was a very traumatic thing for me, and I remember every detail of it, and I remember the struggles of it, and I remember her crying, and I remember all that she went through, I feel that her strength in overcoming a lot of those struggles helped me be Janet, who I am today.
You talk about your mother in your bio with grace and elegance. Is that where you got your grace and elegance in fashion?
I believe 100% that is true. My mother never left the house without pearls. She always had pearls on. She wore a lot of lace, and I love lace. I love lace. I love lace. I love pearls. She would wear black lace dresses. I remember that, as a matter of fact. I know that this is kind of sad to speak about, but when she passed away, this is what we decided to have her wear. She had a black lace dress on with her pearls, her earrings, and her bracelet and everything. And I choose to remember her that way. And unfortunately, she had a disease which was quite debilitating in her later years. And so I forget the name of it right now. It's, it's something that you get when you're older. And she had it here. So she would always wear scarves and hats. Little did I know it was because of that. She was trying to hide the redness and so forth, and the greasy hair because of the medication. Mm. And yet I always saw her with a hat on, a beautiful hat, scarves. She never left the house without them. And so I think that helped me. I love hats. Every time I go out, should I wear a hat today? Should I wear a scarf today? And I love scarves. So yes, I think she shaped a lot of that. And she was very fashionable. When she was young, I see her pictures in Cuba. We were from Cuba. And I see her pictures from the 1950s. And my father was always elegant,
Yeah.
very well dressed. And she was always elegant, very well. Very recently, as a matter of fact, one of my aunts, who's still in Cuba, she wrote to me, and she saw a picture, my profile picture. I don't really share too much with them because they have so little. Why would I share?
Yeah, of course.
Things, I don't share that.
Yeah.
I just check in on them. How
Yeah.
are you? What do you need? And so she saw my profile picture, and I have a hat on, a pink hat on. And then she mentioned to me, she says, your mom, your father, which was her uncle, your father insisted that she wear the first fashion that came in from Paris, and that no one else had it. So back in Cuba in the 1950s, this is how she lived, like a queen, basically. She had a nanny for the kids. We each had a nanny. So again, it's the way she was raised up, and I think the fact that my father was such a king to her, he really loved, they had a beautiful marriage, a very loving marriage, and that created who she was. And so it was a natural transition for me to emulate her, to be like her, and to admire her.
I'm listening to you, and as I'm listening to you in my head, and I'm sure for a lot of people listening who have parents that lived in that generation, the black and white photos, I remember all of the black and white photos. My mom always looked so elegant, always so well dressed, y la faja, or the corset to form the tiny waist. And my parents are from Colombia, and my father always had a hat on, always had the suit on. What a beautiful generation. I love that some fashion today is coming back from that sort of, I would call the Audrey Hepburn era with the pearls and the lace. Lace is sort of a big thing. But when you're talking about your mom and dad, so it made me think of something. The separation wasn't only traumatic for you, it was for your mother as well. And I always find so powerful how two things happen when we undergo trauma. It's either going to make you or it's going to break you. And clearly it didn't break your mother, and if it did, it broke her for the moment to be able to pick her pieces up and make herself. And when we fast forward to the person that you have become and all that you do, and when I look at you and I see the work that you do, you had a choice growing up. You had the choice of saying, look at my early beginnings. I'm just going to blame my early beginnings to do nothing in my life, or take those early beginnings and really use it as, wow, I'm in this country and I'm going to make it the best I can. And clearly you chose the latter. And was there a time that clicked for you and that shifted for you, where you made that decision? Because at some point you become an adult, right? And you make the decision to shift to who you became. What was that for you? Was it your mother hiding the struggle? Was it the pain of not having your dad? And we're going to talk about the reconnection with your father. What was it for you?
That's a very good question, and one that I think about a lot, believe it or not, as an adult. because so many things. I can name so many of them. The fact that we saw my mom struggle. The fact that I did have a father figure. He was an uncle. My mother's brother was here. The fact that he was a good man and he was very good to us. My tío. He was like a father. And he took that place. So I think about that question, and I have to go to when my father reunited with us.
You were about 9 years old?
I was about 9 years old.
How was that? Did he come back?
9 years old. And I do remember vividly, again, we remember things that affected us and
Yes.
that marked us in a way.
Yes.
And I remember when I was 9 going to the airport, actually several times, because my mom would say, "Your dad is coming home tonight. Let's go to the airport and pick him up." And him not being there. And I didn't understand that. I really didn't understand. Where was he? What was he doing? Why didn't he show up? And so about 3 times, finally, we did that one time. And I remember that I didn't go to the airport that time. I think I had school, or it was an early school night. And so I stayed with the neighbors. And I remember him arriving, and I just ran up to him, and he carried me. He always called me mi princesita, mi princesita. Even when he was away and he was in jail, every now and then we would get letters, and he was allowed to leave Cuba through Spain. And so he was in Spain for a couple of years, and he would send us letters and pictures, and he would always say, "Para mi princesa." And so I remember that vividly, how I hugged him. I was so happy. I was so happy. Finally, we were reunited. But I'll tell you what marked me even more is him moving us to Chicago. I remember how in Chicago I felt racism for the very first time in my life. I felt like I was less than. And so because of that, again, like you say, Claudia, it could have broken me, or it could have made me who I am today. And it made me who I am today. Why? Because I chose to hit the books. I hit the books really hard.
Your father, from what I recall, you in your bio, you mentioned that when you reunited with your father, which I believe you were 9, he said, "Do all you can do, but you must go to school.
Yes.
You must get your education."
Absolutely.
And that's when you hit the books.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I wasn't popular, obviously. I didn't look like the other kids, obviously. All blonde, blue-eyed little girls and boys in Chicago. He moved us to the suburb, which I know why he did it. He wanted us to live in a good area. In the inner city, there would have been other little boys and girls like me, maybe Mexicans, maybe Colombians, maybe even Cubans. But he moved us to the suburb, which he meant well, right?
Yeah, of
He
course,
wanted us
of
to
course.
have a good neighborhood to live in and a good schooling. But they were tough.
Yeah.
They were tough on me because I didn't look like them. And the name calling and so forth. I said, you know what? It's not important. It really isn't. Let me just excel in school.
Yeah.
So yes, and it's kind of like, well, maybe that it was meant to be, because he always said, doesn't matter. Just, I want you to bring home good grades. And I did. I was honor roll student. I won the spelling bee. I excelled, and I was the editor of a little thing at school when I was like 10, 11 years old. I wrote about immigrating from Cuba. I wrote about all those things, and I won awards, and so I excelled in school. And I think all those things, the fact that I didn't have him for so many years, my mom was a very strong figure for me, and then he comes into my life, and then he's a very strong figure, a highly educated man, and education was very important. So, you know what? Sometimes I say, thank you, little girls and boys. Thank you for being so mean to me, because it really made me very strong. It really, I had to.
Well, it blossomed you into now you are a CEO, you own an insurance company, and you're the proud founder of Many Happy Hearts. One of the reasons that I have selected you and I asked you to come during this time frame was two different reasons. Number one, November is Entrepreneurship Month. And from one entrepreneur to another, I'm embracing all entrepreneurs on this show during the month of November, but also because this is a season of gratitude. I want to talk about how your humble beginnings has blossomed you into a powerhouse woman that you do so much for children. Starting one foundation, and then starting your insurance company. We've just heard about how rough it was for you at the beginning. Let's start transition a little bit about how those early beginnings shaped you, and what was your idea when you started your insurance company, your foundation? What was going on with Janet that made her want to start that?
At the time that I became an insurance agent, I was going to Miami-Dade College. I was going to school, again, to finish my degree. I got married early, and I had my beautiful daughter, Letty. So I was 21 when I became pregnant. So I had to leave school and get a job. I went to this insurance agency in Coral Gables, and they hired me immediately. They said, "Oh, no, you're perfect for the job." I started as the file clerk, ended up being the office manager 6 years later. And they were very high on education as well. Mr. Norman, who was the owner, I believe, they also were very instrumental in who I am, mentors, if you will. And they were very big on education. So they said, "No, you've got to get your license." I did. "You've got to get your designation, your insurance designation, which is a certified insurance counselor," which I did. "You have to do this, you have to do that." And I did. So why did I become an insurance agent? I had to work. I had a child to feed, and we weren't rich. My husband was not rich by any means. I had to leave school. But it's okay, because I became an insurance agent. I later left that agency and started working with insurance companies. From there, I said, well, you know what? I'm going to build my own insurance agency, and that's how the insurance agency came into view. We are a blended family. My first husband passed away, the father of my first child, Letty. So Jose, who's my husband now, my beautiful, loving husband, he's very supportive of everything I do, as I am, whatever he does. And he is also an insurance agent. So we built it together. Our insurance agency is built together. He's an Aflac agent, and I do mostly commercial. I sold the other part, which was homeowners and auto and things like that. How did we think of doing Many Happy Hearts? At the insurance agency, we hired someone who was an agent, a broker, and he was going through becoming a pastor. And he started to serve, and he got us into serving. Even at a very young age, before we had children, we used to do a lot of things with American Cancer Society, my husband and I, and we even built a little group, a young people's group at the American Cancer Society. But then I became pregnant again and had more children, so I kind of was behind the scenes, even with our insurance agency. So anyways, this young man says, "Would you like to come serve with me at Chapman Partnership?" And of course we said, of course, why not? So we started to serve with him. Every now and then we would go, maybe every 6 months, we would purchase the meal for that day. They have a program that you can purchase the meal for the homeless community there that's there. And so we did that. We would sometimes purchase the lunch as a corporation.
Yes.
And we would purchase the lunch, or we would purchase the dinner, and we would make it a corporate event. All the I don't know if they liked it or not, but they had to come with us. They did. I'm kidding when I say that.
But it's important as entrepreneurs that you teach that culture in your workplace to your employees.
And the kids, too. The kids came with us. It was a family event, and it was a corporate event. Then we started to do golf tournaments. We did 5 years in a row golf tournaments, and we always give the funds to Chapman Partnership. We took it a level. We grew it into Many Happy Hearts because we said, I would like to do something special for the children. And we asked their permission. We spoke to the powers to be there at Chapman and said, would it be okay if we did something extra special for the kids? And they said, of course. And so that's how many happy hearts developed.
When did you find
5.
Nice. Okay.
20 years
20
ago.
years ago. Okay, very nice.
20 years ago. But as a regular volunteer group, 2007. So for 18 years, we have been going to Chapman Partnership on a monthly basis, nonstop. We celebrate the birthdays for the children. And it's not just for the kids. It's also for the families that are there. I mean, think about your child, Eden. How do you feel when your child is celebrated?
Yeah.
I mean, your heart goes tiki 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 tiki. It goes aflutter. Yeah. You shine when someone is kind to your child, or someone does something kind for your child. So it's for the kids, but it's also for the moms and dads that are there at Chapman Partnership, because they get to celebrate the birthdays with their children as well. They're displaced. We want to have them have some sort of normalcy.
Of course.
Joy.
Of course.
Normalcy.
Yeah.
Every child deserves their birthday celebrated.
You know, when you think real quick, and I'm going to transition to these two questions that are so important, and that is, when I listen to the work that you're doing with Chapman and that you've done for 20 years now, and how you're helping children, a part must be because of your early beginnings, of not having the father and the hardship, and so you want to do what you can to help other children not maybe have that void or emptiness, right?
You're good, because that's true.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but this year, 2025, Chapman Partnership chose me as an honoree for their annual Take a Walk in Her Shoes fashion show.
I didn't know that.
And yes, it was amazing. I participated in their fashion show, purchasing tables and bringing friends, and since their beginning, 15 years.
I would have been there. I would have been there.
You sure would have.
I would have been there.
And so all of a sudden I get this email, and they said, well, you are an honoree. And it brought tears to my eyes. So I spoke. It was very much like this. 8 women, 6 women were honored that day. It's funny that you should ask that, because when I was honored at the fashion show, and I was up there with amazing, I felt I was in such great company, amazing women, and so deserving of the honor as well. And the question from Lori Jennings, who was the MC, was, what made you, and what do you think impacted you to do service? And what I said was exactly that. I feel that the fact that I didn't have my father for a few years, that my mother struggled so much, and for all intents and purposes, she was homeless. We were homeless. And so, because we went couch surfing when we arrived, couch surfing all the time until some people took us in. And finally, my mom found a job sewing at a factory in Hialeah. And so we were homeless. So I think that unconsciously, perhaps, even though now I believe that it is true, I think that that's why I serve at Chapman Partnership at a homeless shelter. And I shared with them that I know in my heart that if a place like Chapman Partnership would have been around at the time in 1961, I know that they would have welcomed us. I know in my heart that they would have welcomed my mother. I know that us kids would have had a shelter, would have had food, would have had so many things that they offer. So I look up to them in that way, because there's so many single moms there with 3, 4 kids, and single dads, by the way. There are single dads that we serve at Chapman Partnership, and they have their children with them. So yes, most definitely, it shaped what I do today.
And you know, may that be a testimony to anyone listening today, that whatever struggle they're going can be turned to goodness. It can be turned to doing something positive, so that others may have less of a impact in their early years in life, and the lives that you're changing at Chapman. Many people dream of entrepreneurship, and I'm here about possibility reality. That's the theme of our show here. But I'm also a believer that most people don't, because number one, it takes a lot of work, right? But it's also the fear, and fear stems from the unknown. What helped you push past all of the fears, which I am sure you've had growing up and different changes, and to make your will to many happy hearts? Like, what made you push past the fear of starting your entrepreneurship, starting your business, and starting your foundation that would help maybe someone in a position right now that wants to take the leap of faith, but they're scared of the unknown?
I think you said the magic word, faith. Faith in God, faith in what you believe in, faith in that no matter how many times you struggle and you could have failure, that you can get yourself up and try it again. Just try it again. Because it's like a job, you know. Sometimes this job doesn't work out for you, then you change to another one. And I think faith in God, most definitely.
Was faith instilled when you were a young child?
I'm sorry?
Faith has been instilled in you as a young child? Or was that more of an adult?
My mother didn't have time for a church. Think about it. 3 little kids, new country, running around trying to see where the next meal was coming from, or where we were going to sleep that night, or getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to be picked up by a coworker to go to work. We did not have time for church. On Saturdays, we would go down to Freedom Tower to pick up our little box of spaghetti or peanut butter or oatmeal. Yeah, that's what was our Saturdays, and we would walk or take the bus. We would walk it. And Sundays was pretty much like, okay, let's get our clothes ready for school the next day, or just chill maybe. Do homework or things like that. I was a latchkey kid. I walked alone to school. My brother didn't want anything to do with me. My 6-year-old brother didn't even want to walk with me. Imagine that. He would say, no, you walk ahead of me. Well, I don't know why, but
you know, you're definitely a testament to how your early beginnings do not define who you become. Because as we talked about how successful you are with your insurance company and how successful Many Happy Hearts is, I'm super excited to be a part of an event that you have coming up as well. Let's talk now about, where did your love for running come?
I've always been a walker runner, even in high school.
How many half marathons have you done?
I want to say, I think 10.
10?
I think 10.
Good for you. I've only done 3, and now you're making me look like I haven't done much. Good for you.
I think 10. I have running buddies.
Okay.
And we would always, when we finish one, we sign up for the next one. You know how you finish one and they're going like, oh, there's a special and there's this, and next year, make sure to sign up for next year. So we would do it. We're just, okay, you're going to do it? Okay, we'll do it.
Now, I haven't actively done a half marathon in a few years. So is it something that you do now, like consistently, or you haven't done in a while?
The last half marathon that we did was a Halloween half marathon on Miami Beach, which we run in complete outfits. Yes, we did.
I've seen
that. We did Runaway Wives one time, Runaway Bride. We did cheerleaders one time. This year it was butterflies, which I could not join my running buddies, but they were there with the butterflies. And so I think that my last marathon was 5 years ago.
Wow,
5
very
years
nice.
ago. But we do 5Ks all the time. 10Ks, which is 6 miles, and 5Ks.
The turkey trot.
I do them all the time.
Nice.
And Isla Morada. There's one in December, and we do that every year.
Wow.
So a 10K and a 5K is just like second nature to me, because I do that almost every day.
Do you do the run-walk method?
Run walk. Definitely. We trained with Foot Locker in South Miami.
That's exactly what I did. They have a fantastic program.
They have the best.
They really do. For anybody who wants to start a half marathon, you know,
if anybody out there wants to do a half marathon,
they're very good.
Go over there to
the
South Miami Foot Locker, and they are amazing. They will train you. We were up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
You start very, you know, it's body, it's mind over body. I know a lot of athletes say that it's mind over body, and it really is.
But that's for every aspect of your life. Is mind over matter.
That's right.
Because it's tough. I mean, mental health is a subject in itself.
I think being active and actually doing those type of things is very important for your mental health.
Well, I think also it allows you to pivot and be successful in your professional and personal career, because when you do have that mindset, you tend to be more just energetic and ready to go and clear-minded. And
let's talk about discipline. The last question that you asked about, what would you say to someone that wants to be an entrepreneur? You've got to have discipline. You've got to be on time. You cannot be disrespectful to someone that's waiting for you. So you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to be a CEO, you want to be a business owner, but you're not giving the respect to people. You're getting there late. Half marathons, you have to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, put on your gear, be there by 6, right? Get into your spots, into your corral, they call them, into your numbers and stuff like that. And you have to be disciplined.
Yes.
In every aspect. You have to be disciplined when you're training. You have to be disciplined the day of the race. And so that's very important. I feel that probably shaped me as well. The fact that you have to really be it. And start slow. Don't think you're going to do 13.1 miles the first day. You're not going to. And apply that to your entrepreneurship. Apply that. First day, you're going to do this. Second day, you're going to have a plan. If you don't have a plan, you plan to fail. If you don't have a plan, you plan to fail. So half marathons, 5Ks, 10Ks, it's the same exact thing. Show up, do your 3 miles first, then you go to 4 miles, then you go to 6 miles, and you slowly get to 10. When you get to 10 miles,
then
let me tell you, it's like, I can do this. I can do this.
Yeah.
And it's great training for life.
Yes. You talk about discipline, but the 2 pillars with discipline, you got to be consistent. You got to be consistent with your discipline that you choose. Yeah.
Consistent.
What is one thing most people will be surprised to know about you?
Well, you already asked me, the marathons.
Okay.
I would have said that.
Okay,
I would have said probably people don't think I'm that athletic because I don't look that athletic. But yes, I am. And so our son, he is a runner and a real life runner. Yeah, he came in 3rd for the Miami Marathon.
Oh, nice.
Not the half marathon.
The full 26.2.
Oh, excuse me, he came in 7th. Oh.
Okay.
He came in 7th.
That's good. Wow.
And our youngest, she was in soccer player since the age of 7. So again, we are kind of an athletic family, so it's natural.
Well, they see you doing it. What an inspiration. What do you think of legacy, and how do you hope people remember most about the woman behind all of these accomplishments?
My legacy, giving back to the less fortunate. I think that would be the most amazing legacy that I could have.
Yes.
And being a good mother.
Yes.
Being a good grandmother. Being a good boss. To this day, I still have friendships of employees that were employees of ours for 7 years, 10 years, 15 years, and I still hold those friendships. And that speaks a lot because when you're the boss, sometimes you have that day that you're just not, you can lose your temper sometimes. And I'm telling you, I admit it. I'm not at my best sometimes, really. Because we don't know what people are going through behind the scenes. And I am a perfectionist, so I do demand that sometimes, and that's not fair. That's not fair to others. Really, it isn't. Because my perfection may not be the same as your perfection. What I hold to be the right thing at that particular moment may not be for you, and that's okay. So I come in with my expectations, perhaps. I may not answer the right way, but I always make up.
Yeah.
I always say to people, let's talk about it. Let's see what happened.
My father would say, I'm going to say it in Spanish, en la vida todo se puede resolver con comunicación. Lo único que no se puede resolver es la muerte y los taxes. But it's true. If you communicate, you can get through almost anything.
That's true. I would always go back and say, hey, you know what? I came in a little flustered. I'm sorry. What's going on? Tell me how you want to do it, and I'll show you what I think.
How many employees do you have?
Right now, one. But I did have.
Don't make that person very upset.
I know, and it happens to be my husband and me. Oh my goodness! So but at one time I did have up to 10.
Yeah.
I had up to 10, and so yes, sometimes, but not everybody's perfect either. They would come in with their little attitudes too. So I would back off and say, okay, you know what? Come and talk to me when you settle down, and we'll figure it out. I always say we'll figure it out. And just like with clients, if they have a question that I cannot answer at that particular moment, I always say, you know what, let me do some investigation. Let me read about it. Let me see, and I'll get right back to you.
Entrepreneurship has so many components to it, but the one thing I have to say about it, and I guess it depends the industry, is you've got to like people because, and you have to always know that they're not you. No one is perfect, and guess what? Someone is going to disappoint you, and it's not personal. If you could just get past that, it's not personal. It's not about you. So, whether it's your employee, whether it's your partner at work, whatever it is, you got to get past it. It's not personal. This is business right now.
Some of the young people, they were young when they were working with me right out of high school, or maybe in
I have
high
a lot
school.
of those now, Miss Claudia's. I have a few of those.
Yeah. Today, I as I said, they're still friends of mine, and we still communicate, and we still see each other on a social basis. They are always invited to anything that we do, even on a personal level, birthdays or things, landmark, milestone
Milestones,
birthdays.
of course.
My husband turned 70. I did this big 70s party, and I invited all the girls that used to work for them. And one of them always says to me, "Thank you, Janet, because you fired me." I did. I did fire her, and she was talking. At the time, it wasn't phone. It was more like
Was it the BlackBerry back then?
it wasn't that. Okay. It was on the computer, on the work computer.
Okay.
And her boyfriend was working in Europe, and there was a time change, and she would say to me, well, he's waking up now, and I have to, it wasn't FaceTime either, it was Skype or something of that.
Skype, yeah.
It was Skype or something.
It was some form of platform to communicate.
Some platform that was being used during office hours.
During office hours.
On my computer, and I said, you know what, this is not for you. I think you need to leave. I said it in a very nice way. It wasn't like, she could have come back and said, will you hire me? She didn't. She moved on. I said, you really need to leave. And I'll tell you why. It's because you're talking to your boyfriend. It's 4 o'clock in the hour, 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Of course.
It's office hours. Oh, well, he's working in Europe, and now is when he woke up, and it's 9 o'clock over there, and it's time. I go, okay, I get it. I understand, but you need to leave because you're giving a bad example for everybody else.
Of course.
If I allow it for one person, I have to allow it for everybody. To this day,
she appreciates that.
She appreciates that. And she says, thank you so much.
And on that note, if you can tell your 10-year-old self something right now, that little girl waiting for her dad, what's the one thing it would be?
It's not your fault. It's not your fault. I know you don't understand this right now, but you will. You will understand it, that it's not your fault.
Powerful. Okay. This is about possibility reality. Candid with Claudia is about how do we make our possibility reality. And everyone that has come on here are just 100% go-getters and the dreamers and the doers and the movers and the shakers. How do you define possibility today? And what does it mean to you to be turning your possibility to reality?
I'm going to have to say that social media really plays a huge part. And it can be in a negative way, and it can also be in a positive way. I think that social media is a phenomenon that has come into our lives that has brought new possibilities, if you look at it that way and you use it in the proper way. That you can use it for your business. You can use it, I hate that word influencer, but a lot of influencers use it in their business, in their personal life. But that being said, I think that social media has to be stopped at a certain time of the day where you give your family, where you give your business, where you give your friends 100% of your time.
Yes.
And you put it away. That is something. So again, social media has amazing possibilities. I feel that this year with social media, I've reached certain levels or certain people that I have met.
We met through social media.
Impact that has been amazing because I've been able to utilize it in a very positive way. But that being said, I also have to turn it off. My husband says to me,
yes.
What are you doing?
Yes.
I go, well, I just got to put this, I'm going to post this right now. Says, can it wait?
No.
And I'm going, okay, well, not really. I have to be honest with him. I said, not really. It can't wait. I have to put it right now because then when I do post it, that's it. It's gone. 8 o'clock, 8 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m., right after dinner. Dinner, I don't have the phone on me.
That's good. That's good.
But we don't have I don't know about your family, but our family does not have like a set time as we did when the kids were little. We would have a set time to sit down and dinner. We really don't because we both are very busy and entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And sometimes he has dinner meetings with his Aflac brokers, so he's not at home. I'll have dinner by myself. And so it could be 6 o'clock, it could be 7 o'clock, it could be 8 p.m. Doesn't matter. But after that, that's it. Don't call me. Don't want me. Don't tell me because I won't answer. So again, you have to utilize it for its possibilities.
Yes.
But also know that it can be a downfall for a lot of families. I see them in restaurants and things like that.
Yes.
Where they don't even speak to each other.
Yes. I say this about social media, and I say it about in today's world, and that is everyone has a dream of the possibility of making it a reality. And in today's world, there really is no excuse not to make your possibility a reality because of social media and because we all hold the phone in our hand, and this is the global reach that we have. So to every person dreaming of wanting to make something happen, you really can, and it's in your ability to do so with today's resources, but know boundaries and when to place them just for that own sort of mental health. And I'm going to ask you one question before we go to Candid Rapid Fire. What advice would you give, in one sentence, what advice would you give to a young woman who has facing setbacks right now, maybe single mother, maybe they're in a home where they only have a mom? What advice would you give to any young girl listening today that they may have a setback so that they can turn it into a strength?
I know it's difficult for a lot of young women to do this, but you need a tribe. You need other women. You need other women in your lives. Join a group. Join a church. Go to church. There's so many free. You don't need to go to church and pay.
Yeah.
I know that they ask for money. I do know that. But you don't have to. It's only if you can. A lot of these churches have groups, have women groups, have Bible groups that you can join, have faith in God. But yes, I think choosing a tribe, a lot of women don't have that.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't have a mom that's alive. Maybe the mom lives far away. Just stick together to a tribe and try to make, if you have children, go to the playground with your kids and talk to those other moms. Hey, how are you? I've seen you here a few times. I know a lot of people don't want to be approached nowadays because it's kind of scary. But if you do it in the right way, hey, I'm sorry, I don't want to invade your space. I know you're with your children. Make sure that that's priority. I'm watching my kids. But I've seen you here a couple of times. What do you do?
Find a tribe.
Yes, find a tribe.
Find a tribe. Ready for some Candid Rapid Fire?
No.
Okay. Very easy. One word that describes your generation as a baby boomer.
Lucky.
Favorite
Tea or
song
cafecito?
that never gets old.
Cafecito.
Sunrise or sunset?
Tennessee whiskey.
Oh,
that's a hard one because
Heels
I love
or
both.
sneakers?
I love both. I would
that's
say
another
sunrise.
difficult
one.
Favorite place to recharge your
I love
mind?
sneakers. And when we travel, on my
sneakers have to
balcony
be with me.
looking at the
I
ocean.
would say
I do
right
live
now
on
at
Miami
my
Beach, and that's
age,
one of the reasons why I live on Miami
sneakers.
Beach is because the
Finish
ocean
this sentence.
calms me so much.
Life taught me to always.
Be respectful.
Janet, I want to thank you so much for your words of wisdom, your candidness, and more than anything for being so open. Because I am quite sure that any woman listening today, no matter what decade they're in, your words of wisdom will empower and inspire them to not allow anything that they may be going through to impact where they're going to end. Because the season that you're in is only just one chapter of where your life is going. And if they can just remember to be consistent and to be disciplined and to always show up with some elegance and grace, right?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
I am honored to be here. Thank you so much.
I absolutely loved spending
for
some time with
opening
you.
your home. This is your home. This is like your second home.
This has become my second home. Yes,
So
it
you
is.
opened the doors to your second home to
Candid
me.
with Claudia.
And that speaks volumes.
Thank
it really
you.
does.
I formed Candid with Claudia as a space to talk about conversation that has brought us joy. There has been some moments of setbacks, but every setback has been turned into a strength. So everybody that has been sitting on these chairs have really had a journey that wasn't easy, but where they're at when they're sitting at the chair is a powerful voice to those listening that, hey, you know what? If anything that you hear on Candid with Claudia will inspire and empower you to get up and make your possibility a reality, then we've done something powerful here. Until next time, do not forget to follow us on TikTok, on YouTube, and Spotify. Until then, stay candid.